You know, over here it's kind of a special thing when a company comes over here. So, you know, we're going to try to please them as much as we can, and hopefully, God willing, we can come over more than once a year or 2 or 3 times would be really good.
Now, traditionally, wrestling companies making stars, the guys on top, the position you're in now, WCW, they barely made anyone.
Exactly.
WWE, it took you a long time
Same
to break
thing.
through. Jericho, that doesn't happen in TNA. You guys,
No politics. You're looking at the guy right now that's in charge of where the talent is going, and I have no ideas or anything up my sleeve that I'm going to try to keep talent down. What I want to do is build talent. I want them to become as popular as me, and I've said this many times. The more popular our superstars become, the better the company becomes, the bigger it becomes, the more money it makes, the more money we make. It makes sense. WWE doesn't go that way. They you know, guys are always like, this guy isn't getting my position, I'm going to keep him down, you know, and it's always a struggle. And the locker room isn't a group. There's not much camaraderie there. Very miserable. I know how I felt up there. And I had to even politic for myself. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I would have whooped anyone's ass in there. And I had to politic for myself just to get in the main event. And, you know, I spent a lot of years just shaking my head saying, this is done the wrong way. And I come to TNA and it's like, Kurt, we're utilizing you. We don't discriminate here. If you're 5'8" and 180 pounds and you're getting the fans' attention, they love you, you can win the heavyweight title. And I believe that. You know, in WWE, you got to be 6'4", 260, unless you win Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't discriminate, and they want their superstars to become bigger than the TNA name. In WWE, you will never see a superstar go above the WWE name. Stone Cold Steve Austin did it once, Hulk Hogan did it once, but Vince has kind of retained that. Now WWE's up here, and all the talent's below it. What Dixie Carter's trying to do is make Kurt Angle bigger than the name. He's trying to make Samoa Joe bigger than the name. You know, AJ Styles and Christian Cage. So I think that's really important, and that's very unselfish on her part. But in the long run, it's going to help TNA.
Two things about Dixie Carter. First off, she's very hot.
Yes, she's hot as heck. Yeah, and my wife, we even say that too.
Yeah,
I think my wife's attracted to her.
And of course, bringing Karen to the TV, and you know, it's always a case of wrestlers' wives come along and they get a job.
She was her idea to come in and kind of trick Joe when we did the match, and she did a phenomenal job. And when she was in the ring, and I was, she's cutting a promo on me, and she's like, "I'm sick and tired of you, and I'm sick and tired of the way you treat me and the way you treat your kids." And I was being a real jerk on TV that day. My daughter dropped my suitcase, and I yelled at her. And we actually did another pre-tape where I yelled at her really hard, and I never yelled at my daughter. She actually cried for real, so we had to take it out of the show. Yeah,
it wouldn't look great.
Oh, it was horrible. So my wife cut this incredible promo. And all I could see was this beautiful woman with real emotion coming out. And to be honest with you, I more than that, what I saw was money. It was like, this woman is big bucks, And when I went backstage right away, Dixie and Jeff came to me and they said, she's big money. They said the same thing. They saw the same thing I saw. And they said, would she be interested in signing? I said, don't ask me, ask her. I said, she's the one she wanted to be a housewife and a mother her whole life, so she never was really interested. And they asked her, she said, sure, I'll do it, but I can only do certain dates. So
how good are you at spotting new talent? Cena was on the show last week, and he was very complimentary about you.
I am complimentary about him. I think he's great.
Did you spot money in him from the start, or
his first match was against me, and I had to make him look very good, and he wasn't very good at the time. After about 2 years, Vince said, Kurt, you got 6 months program with John. You need to teach him how to wrestle. You need to teach him psychology. You need to teach him how to win these fans over. For 6 months, I taught him, and you know what? He picked up very well, very quickly. And you know what? You watch him; he's not the greatest athlete, but he gets the job done. And I am very complimentary of John. If he ever was interested in coming to TNA, I think he'd be the guy to take. But of any other talent, I really don't see much any other talent. TNA has their own stars. And we want to build our own stars. We don't want to make it a secondary WWE show. We want to make TNA TNA. And when I quit WWE, I promised I would never go back. And
does that still stand now? Does that still stand now? It doesn't matter monetary or the part-time schedule or anything.
You know what? I've talked to people about the part-time schedule, and the only way I'd ever go to WWE, and knock on wood, God forbid it ever happened, but if TNA folded, which it's not going to. So I don't think I would even go part-time. That I'd consider it, but I probably wouldn't. But TNA is where I want to be. I'm happy where I am. And Vince McMahon can kiss my ass.
Now, looking at WWE, the one thing they seem to have, because of the legacy of it, that TNA don't seem to have, say Undertaker versus Batista last year at WrestleMania, neither of them were particularly great workers, but that match was fantastic because of the atmosphere, because of the characters. Is that something you'd like to see in TNA?
Yeah, when I stepped in, what I saw were a bunch of good wrestlers that were flying around the ring. Nobody really cared about them. That's the philosophy and the psychology I've been trying to teach these wrestlers. We need to build characters. AJ Styles just can't go out there and be one of the best wrestlers in the world. He needs to have a character. And now he is one of the most entertaining guys on TV. We built a character for him. Samoa Joe, he didn't talk much, and when he did, it was blah, 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 blah. It wasn't very good. Now he's starting to have a bit of an attitude. People are starting to care about him. You want them to care about you one way or the other, either like you or hate you.
That's what Cena said as well. He was like, I don't care if they boo me, or as long as they making some noise.
When I wrestled Cena, I was the bad guy. He was the good guy, but they booed him all the time because they never believed he could beat me. It was just like, John Cena starting out, Olympic gold medalist. This ain't, there's no way John would beat me, and they'd be like, boo, they'd be throwing stuff at him. Yeah. So it wasn't a good experience with John, but the experience he had was he learned. I taught him how to work, and that's what I've been doing with a lot of talent here.
With that Cena program, I remember clearly it was fantastic matches, the best matches Cena had up until that point. And he was getting booed, you were getting cheered. And I remember reading this rumour that backstage Triple H was burying you because you were meant to be the bad guy and you were getting cheered. Is that the truth?
Sure, but you know what? I was doing everything I could. I was having John Cena, this rapper, out wrestle me, which is literally impossible. But I was doing all the right things, and Triple H, obviously wanting to bash me because I was a better wrestler than him. I deserved to be in the spot that he was, but he was never going to give that up. He's Vince's son-in-law. It was just one of those things where, I had to deal with that stuff all the time, and I'd wrestle Shawn Michaels. I'd get a little rough with him, and then I'd get heat from Vince McMahon because I beat up on Shawn too much. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm tired of the two long-haired sissies. If they can't go up against me, then don't put them up against me. And I'm talking about Shawn and Triple H. But, as far as John Cena, he took anything I threw at him. He took it. He kept his mouth shut, and he was cool about it. I am a stiff worker. That's the way I work. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I'm not Triple H, who was never in a sport before and just got into wrestling and learned how to work very lightly. I bring to the table what I bring to the table, and that's aggressiveness, and I can't help it. That's the way I wrestle.
We were talking on the way here today, and my girlfriend was at WrestleMania when you were against Brock there, and I was watching it on the TV, and she said, I was so scared. What, of Brock? No, of Kurt. How injured were you at that point? Because
I couldn't lift my left arm.
It was an amazing match. I thought Brock had died at the end. I really thought he died at the end.
Oh, he crashed and burned on the finish. Oh man, that was supposed to be the finish of the match, and it was my idea. But I watched Brock do that a million times.
I've got tapes of him in OVW doing it, hitting it every single time.
Oh, like 7/8 across the ring. Like I was literally right in the middle of the ring. And what he did is he went to go and he paused, and when he paused, then
the legs were shaking.
Yeah, and he landed right on his head. And all I could do is I covered him, and I was praying to God that he would kick out because I knew I'd have to go another month with my arm. So I was like, kick out.
Yeah.
And he was like, huh, what? And he kicked out, and I said, can you F5 me? And he said, huh? And I said, oh, no. I said, can you lift me up in F5? And he said, yeah. So I said, all right, I'm going to pick you up. When I do, I said, break my arms away and lift me up in F5 me. And he did it. Bam. And he covered me, and 1, 2, 3, and thank God I was able to go get my surgery. But Brock had to go to the hospital. I ended up breaking down, and I guess my neck, because it was broken, my whole body started shaking, so they rushed me to the hospital. It was just the whole day. The match was great, but after the whole experience after that was just a nightmare.
I love your work. I mean, the stuff with Benoit, especially.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Any memories of Benoit? He's been on the show, and I said to everybody, one of the nicest men you've ever met.
He is.
And one of the best workers in the world ever.
I will tell you this, and it's probably something I shouldn't say, but I was talking to Stephen Godfrey, who works with TNA. He's here with me right now. About a year before that happened, I was talking to Chris, and they were kind of running him ragged, and and he pulled me aside. He said, "I need to talk to you." And I said, "Yeah, what's up, Chris?" And he said, "Listen, I'm ready to snap," and I could see it in his face. It was like it wasn't like a normal. Like I'm ready to snap, I'm really running down. It was like, he was like looking at me real intense, like he was going to kill me.